Hi and welcome to One Good Life. In this channel, we draw insights from modern science and ancient wisdom that can help us live a happy and meaningful life. Today, I'd like to introduce the concept of loving kindness meditation, also called Metta Bhavana. In previous weeks, we practiced a focus meditation where we picked one object of meditation, a sound, the breath, a thought, and stick to it for the entirety of the session. And then we also covered mindfulness meditation, in which we tried to maintain metta awareness of everything that is happening around us, different sounds, different thoughts that come and go as a flow. This third type of meditation is fairly common within the vipassana practice, usually at the end of the session. The aim is to develop positive and warm thoughts about a person or a situation where it's not always usually to find those feelings. Loving kindness meditation can be applied to someone we love, someone close to us that we already pretty naturally and frequently experience warm thoughts towards. It can also be applied to strangers, for instance, maybe the barista at your local cafe or someone that works at the shop who is not a friend of yours and you don't usually interact with and don't think about much. Once we've trained ourselves in this skill, we can also move on to people who we might have some complicated relationship with, someone who we might disagree with politically, socially, someone who we perhaps dislike or have had arguments with, someone who has hurt us in the past. It can be a friend, it can be a family member who we have a hard relationship with. It can also be applied to ourselves. Oftentimes in life, we find it easier to think warm things about our friends and loved ones than about ourselves. Something important to note is that this meditation doesn't aim to change our relationship with the people that we keep in mind for the duration of the session. We perhaps don't want to establish a relationship with these people. We might not want to be friends with them, especially when we think of people who we might have difficult relationships with. It doesn't mean that we want to reconnect with them or make them a part of our lives. It's about training ourselves to feel more positive emotions, to feel less anger or pity or anything negative that emerges naturally as we go through the day. Same applies to strangers who we might have crossed paths with once, and we might want to keep them in mind for this session, but we might not be interested in calling them or getting to know them better necessarily. However, these skills can then be applied to a variety of situations. It can make us more patient, more loving, more compassionate, and we can then choose to use these qualities that we are enhancing in the way we wish and in the way that serves us and our loved ones best. So let's start by arriving. You might have had a busy day or week. I invite you to find a comfortable seat, sitting up, growing through your spine and relaxing the shoulders. Start noticing the natural rhythm of your breath. Does it feel slow or fast, deep or shallow? Begin to lengthen the exhalations. Let's choose a person we will focus on for today's session. if you haven't done this practice before, I suggest you think of someone that you interact with casually, who you don't know well, but don't have particularly strong negative feelings about. As you train yourself in this skill, you can slowly move on to people who you have more difficult situations with. Think of their face, even if we don't remember it properly. How did they look like when we last saw them? Were they at peace or anxious, nervous or present? What might their lives look like when they're not in the situation that we know them for? How do they feel when they wake up and when they go to sleep? What might their wildest dreams be? Do they have a support network? Are they happy at their job? What would it be like to be their friend, or perhaps their flatmate? Now imagine being from their point of view, looking at yourself interacting with them. Were you smiling to them? Were you kind? How did they feel in that moment? Now imagine them making a mistake that involves you, a mistake that affects you negatively, in pretty minor way. Perhaps if you're thinking of a barista at your local coffee, imagine them mixing up your order with someone else's, giving you a cappuccino instead of a latte. And perhaps you're in a hurry and you might get annoyed by this. Now go back to wishing them love, wishing them peace, contentment, happiness, warmth. wishing that all their dreams would come true. And that whatever comes their way, they are able to handle and they're able to thrive through. You might notice yourself smiling a little bit while thinking of this person, while wishing them well. If you aren't, you can bend the edges of your mouth slightly upwards, creating a very slight smile. Even this small gesture can help you experience more positive emotions towards this person, yourself, in any situation in life. Take a deep breath and exhale. 2 more in your own time. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Begin to open your eyes if you have them closed, and notice how you feel. No judgment. Some days it might be easier to think and feel warm thoughts and feelings for people in this exercise than other days. And that's okay. Research shows that traits such as gratitude and kindness can be trained with practice. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comments. I'd like to hear from you. Is it the first time you try this practice or you hear about it? And I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to our channel so we can practice more meditation and yoga together and learn about techniques from modern science and ancient wisdom that can help us enrich our lives and live more purposeful, fulfilling experiences, whatever life brings our way. Thank you for practicing with me today. See you next week.